Oh, you tried. I'm not sure what we see pictures. Where are you? It's lucky we're not in the same building.
Okay, I got a minute until yet. That's the official time over here?
No.
6:00.
The magic hour of 6 o'clock is here. I see the kids jumping up and down.
And they're still
There's a magician coming in now. So. Great evening, everyone. So wonderful to see a huge audience here this evening. So we've got a full agenda and a lot of great awards to give out this evening. So we'll get started with roll call, please, Mr. Nunn.
Stacy?
Here.
Vinny?
Here.
Knogle?
Here.
Curran?
Here.
None here. Brian?
Here.
Wilmsmeyer?
Here.
Leninger?
Here.
We have
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would stand, please, and stay standing for the invocation given by Pastor Brian Harris with Lead Church. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. God, I thank you today. I thank you for the opportunity that we have to be here. God, I thank you that you are directing us and guiding us in everything that we do. God, I ask that today as we go through this ceremony with the students, that we honor them and we let them know how excitingly special they are to each one of them to be able to have this a wonderful opportunity today to receive these awards. God, I pray that we would be guided in all of our steps. God, that we would walk in a way that we look to you and know that you are guiding everything we do. Thank you for everything you give us. We praise you today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Harris. We appreciate it. Okay, next up is public comment. Is there anyone here this evening to give public comment to the school district? Anyone? You have to give them like 3 times, Mr. Schooler? No. Anyone? Very good. Hearing none, we will move on to some special awards.
I'm excited about all this. I don't know if any of you noticed walking in that I wanted to compliment our district students, the artwork that is up and down the hallway coming in. Mr. Rushing brought in some things from the art students. We're going to try to do a revolving situation. We have a new band picture by the restroom. We're just trying to incorporate some more. Well, it looks like, it's not a bathroom, but everybody goes there, right? So anyway, we really wanted to put a lot more district representation more, so there's a lot of stuff you'll find throughout the area. So we're pretty excited about that. So here we go. Okay. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about, recognize the following Gravenstein High School senior students who were named as the 2023-2024 Illinois State Scholars. The State Scholar Program is awarded to high school seniors based on ACT or SAT rank and test scores, 6 semester class size, unweighted class rank, and grade point average. This is a really outstanding academic achievement, and the District Board of Education Administration would like to recognize their academic success. This is an ongoing thing the whole time they're in high school, and it really requires a lot of discipline and hard work on these students, so I really don't want to undervalue how important this is. So when I read your name off, you can come up and get your certificates, okay? We can do some pictures, so I will start with Lauren Finoglio. Did I say that correctly?
Look at that too.
We gotta look there. too if he wants to come at the end. We'll make room.
Why
We
not?
gotta do this right. We good? Emily Garcia Barrera, did I say that correctly? But Emily's not here. Congratulations to Emily. Gwyneth Hale. It's kind of a long way around. Tonight. Congratulations. Great job. It's a great achievement. Peyton Hatfield. Are you gonna make some disparaging comment about Mr. DePew? Because this is one of the last times.
Not off the top of my head.
In the morning, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Congratulations. Great job. Sorry. I told the kids that every time we have something, we only have so more for Mr. DePew because he's retiring, so we try to find things to.
Greatly appreciated.
I know it is. Ivan Hernandez. Good job. Congratulations.
Good job,
We're proud
Ivan.
of you. Maddox Kennedy. Kaylee McElroy. Over there. Oh, over here we go. Here we go.
Perfect, thank you.
They were even here early. Clara Nipper. Clara, good job. Congrats. Oh, man. Kylie Pearman. Christopher Taylor. There he is. These two.
All right, Chris.
Congratulations, sir. Alex Weaver, there he is.
Well, we added. So we added, so it was a problem.
Way to go, Alex.
So we're talking about how long it takes you, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I know, it's hard. And they're all dressed so well, too. It's a picture, you know, I kind of feel like I'm related, but not, but it kind of feels like. I hope I say this last name right. Chloe, is it Wydell or Waddell? Wydell, I did it right first time. I get mom too. She beat Mr. Mitchell.
I know.
My mother has somebody.
Yes.
It just makes me really happy. Daniel Wilson, sorry. No. And Carly Wright. No, okay, so we finished those, great accomplishment. I mean, seriously, it's all 4 years of a lot of hard work, so they really did a good job. So one last round of applause. Now, I'd like to recognize a very special young woman. What to say? I even know how to pronounce her name correctly, too, so it's pretty good. We have a student who has been named drum major for the 2023 Troopers Drum and Bugle Corps. Mr. Roberts, would you like to come up and kind of give us a little more info about this?
Sure.
He knows much more than I do about this, although I know it's really important.
Right. So I'm sure you all know what a marching band is. This is very similar to a high school marching band, only it's professional, and they don't have woodwinds, they have brass, percussion, and color guard. Students from all over the country go to audition for these drum corps. Sky was one of, I believe, over 20 drum majors who auditioned for this drum corps and made it, had to submit video auditions and go to actual auditions and camp weekends and try out against all these people, several of which who already had drum corps experience. So we could not be more proud of Sky. This is our first drum corps drum major that we've ever had for Granite City.
Wow,
So
wow, so
very
let's
excited.
welcome Trisky Augustin up to see us. Sky, right, which is a beautiful name. So here, a nice little thing there. We'll have Mr. Mitchell take some pictures. Does Mom want a picture?
Why?
Oh, she is taking video.
Mom's up there.
My mom.
All right, here we go.
Do we look at Mom? We got him.
Hold on, Mr. Mitchell.
Hold it. No,
Oh, wait.
you got two Mitchells taking pictures here.
Oh,
You
no.
got to send one to Miss Mitchell there. Okay, thank you. Good job.
This is such an exciting night. There's like so much incredible good news about Granite City and so many things we accomplished. And this is just another example of the dedication and devotion you see in our teachers for our students in this district. I'd like to, well, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch Teacher of the Month for January 2023 was Miss Sarah Corzine. Don't look it up yet. She teaches at Wilson Elementary. She'll receive a $250 Target card, but more importantly, she'll receive our respect and our admiration. I'm kind of choked up. She does so much for kids in our district. I watch her in the building and see her with some kids that can be challenging, and she's just amazing with them. So I just want to have her come up and recognize her here in front of the board. It's just such an honor to see our teachers recognized for the work they do by other people as well. Like we know, but to have someone else, and you were nominated by a parent, correct?
I don't know, they didn't tell me. They sent me the nomination, but they didn't say who it was by.
Which is even kind of nice, you know, just to know that someone thought enough to do that. I think that's really amazing. We're proud of you. And now also, very proud of this also young woman in our administration. I said young woman, yes, I know she's younger than me. That makes her a young woman. So the Illinois State Board of Education recognizes an early childhood teacher of the year, an elementary teacher of the year, a secondary teacher of the year.
There's like 15 categories.
But as far as the major categories, there's like 3 major categories that they picked from all the nomination of all the teachers in Illinois. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of teachers, okay? So, Ms. Bratton, you wanna come up? Principal. Honestly, the thing that said, you guys might wanna think about it, you know, writing up people for awards, people that deserve it in your building, and the amount of time it takes and the dedication to put these things together is time consuming in itself.
Yes.
But it doesn't seem like a job when you're doing it for someone like this. So if you would explain a little bit about how you put it together and what you had to do for the nomination?
Yeah, absolutely. So the state board seeks out nominations, and as soon as I saw this, Marcy immediately came to mind. Like Ms. Can said, it's not hard to look at a process when you have such a good muse. Even sitting here tonight, it's a perfect example. The students are coming up, receiving awards, and she remembers which ones are from pre-K. So that shows right there her dedication. That was my pre-K kid. That was one of mine. I mean, that shows that her love never goes away for the children, and they're the first and foremost. So the nomination was my pleasure, and it was well deserved. So we are very proud of Miss Marcy.
And we had to keep it quiet.
That was very hard.
So the state was like, okay, we're telling you, but you can't tell anyone else. Like, it was like 3 weeks. And we were like, okay. And they said, you can't tell anyone. Like, we weren't supposed to tell anyone.
Right.
So we were all very excited. And then we could tell her, and then we had to keep it a secret another, week and a half. So we told her, and they had a video call with the state superintendent. And it was really cool. We didn't tell her, we kind of
made a ruse to get her there.
The office told her she was going to have to do a video at the last minute, of which she panicked. We weren't really doing that, but we made her sing. Mr. Mitchell was in on that too, so we kind of made her think she was going to have to do that. So there were 500 applicants just for the Early Childhood Teacher of the Year. So they just recognized her this weekend, right, in Bloomington. Had a dinner award ceremony for family and that, and I know that you went and her sister went, somebody went too. So I want to present Ms. Marcy Dodds as the Illinois State Board of Education Early Childhood Teacher of the Year. Received this very important pin. They told her she had to wear everywhere she went when she represented the district. So you know, we had to point that out as well. And I know she's probably receiving a lot more important things and things you got, but we really wanted to try to do a nice plaque and try to do something a little extra special for you. She is also, what I forgot to say also, is she is among 15 candidates for the Illinois Teacher of the Year, which we have never won one. We've had a national one for Disney, but we have not had an Illinois Teacher of the Year in general. But 15, we in the top 15,
yeah.
all of them.
Her process is not over. She still has to go through one more interview.
Oh, she does?
And the final announcement for the total teacher will be announced in April.
It's in April, right? Mm-hmm. So here's your wonderful.
Thank you
plaque,
very,
and
very
hopefully,
much.
You know, we're so proud of her. So. We're so proud.
Thank you.
I know. I can't.
Marcy, I told Reed about your award and he said, good job, Miss Marcy.
Mr. Benny. Right, Chris, there was our interview.
There was your interview.
They told
It
us. Well, funny part about this is that, so they have all these other older kids, and they asked for videos of children talking about the great things. Well, she did 3-4-years-olds. It was
hard
a
to
little
interview
more
a
challenging. You got some good ones though.
Yeah, he said Miss Marcy has a nice smile.
Which she does, yeah. So it was a little more challenging to try to get them to say, but we're really proud. We're really proud, so. Okay, so thank you everyone for being here tonight. It's always nice when we can do such wonderful awards for everybody in the district. So great job, everybody.
This is the customary time we give you a minute or so if you want to leave. And those with a burning desire to stay, please do. It's on the hand. Especially the kids.
Sarah? Thanks, everyone.
Yes. Great.
What's up with juice?
Now you can spread out.
I was. And they used our video call at our reception as like the,
They also
as
tell
the
them
big
you
thing.
sat there.
Yes, we sat with the state superintendent and the seat at the board. It was really nice. They asked to sit with us. Along with them. It was a wonderful reception. Wonderful reception.
All right.
Okay.
The room cleared out a little bit. I thought they were all here to participate in the board meeting, Christie. So we have approval of the minutes of the January 24th, 2023 board meeting.
Vinny?
Oh, wait, we need a motion first.
Oh, sorry.
So moved.
He's trying.
It's quick.
Let's get
Trying to
it
get it
over
done. Motion and a second?
with. Who's the second?
Linda.
Alright. Vinny?
Good to see you, Zach and Susan.
Yeah.
Actually see them. Yes, aye.
Knogle?
Aye.
Curran?
Aye.
None, I, Brian?
Aye.
Stacy?
Aye.
Williamsmeyer?
Aye. Consent agenda, anything there that we want to pull out? It's the treasurer's report, bill list, and gifts, and do you want to mention anything about the gifts?
I mean, they're on here, I just think we had so many this time, which is another really cool thing to see. Dr. Markarian came and did a presentation at Frohart, brought toothbrushes and everything. We're gonna see if we can hit him up for another school as well, but he was a graduate here, and I think that that's really cool. Calvary Life Church, did a great job, gave some amazing stuff to Maryville School for recess, indoor and outdoor, and the kids were so excited to get all those things, and games, and what else, walls, jump ropes, what else, Chris? I'm trying to think.
It was tons of, it was just indoor and outdoor.
I mean, there was just a ton of
That was a
stuff,
lot
so
of stuff.
we want to thank Pastor Mark and his wife Jill for that. The Amazon warehouse gave us hand sanitizer, which, you know, you can still use it, right? We have that, you never know. And sweet treats from the heart. Ms. Irvay called and asked them if they would do something for our student of the month, and they offered to give cookies as well as chocolate covered creations. We're terrific about offering to give things to our students, which I mean, that just says a lot. Their support of our students is just wonderful. And also the First United Presbyterian Church Closets of Hope, Ms. Bev Scroggins brought in stuff for us at Prather. What did she bring, clothes?
Tons of donations for clothes
Which we needed, the little ones.
for the little ones for extra.
I don't wanna go into details, but they need extra clothes. So, I just think it's amazing how many people stepped up. All we did was she called and two people, and of course we'll do that. So, and before we had Seabold's, our Duke's Bakery also doing the same thing, so I just think it's really nice.
And Chris Humphreys as well.
Chris Humphreys actually just called us and asked if we would want some, and he brought personally a ton of hand sanitizer, which was very nice as well.
Okay,
Move to approve.
thank you.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Recommendations and communications, human resources.
Okay.
8A. Yeah.
Okay, 8A, rescind retirements and resignations. It is recommended, sadly, the following retirements and resignations be rescinded. Miss Lisa Yarborough, Principal Mitchell, effective end of 24-25 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Curran?
Aye.
None, I, Brian?
Aye.
Stacy?
Aye.
Vinny?
Aye.
Knogle?
Aye.
Williamsmeyer?
Aye. Item 8B, retirements and resignations. Yeah, yeah.
It is recommended that the following retirements and resignations be accepted. Lynn Lanham, fifth grade teacher at Grigsby, end of 24-25 school year. Robert Weathers, custodian at Lake, retirement end of 8/3/27. Lisa Yarborough, principal at Mitchell, retirement end of 22-23. I think there's two.
No, we rescinded the other one.
Oh, never mind, I'm not paying attention,
That's right.
just ignore me. Okay, Sheena McClendon, assistant principal at Grigsby, resignation effective the end of 22-23. Michelle Cooper Paul, retirement end of 25-26, second grade teacher at Maryville.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on any of those?
I would like to thank them all for their
Yeah, absolutely,
dedication to the
absolutely.
district.
Roll call, please, Zach.
None, I, Brian.
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. Item 8C, requests for leaves of absence.
It is recommended that the following requests for leaves of absence be approved. Rhonda Vest Nolan, second grade teacher at Wilson, effective 1/24/23 to 4/28/23. Ms. Connie Markoff, special ed teacher at Coolidge, effective 1/30/23 to 4/24/23. Ms. Tracy Grody, fourth grade teacher at Mitchell, effective 3/16/23 to 6/8/23. And Ms. Teresa Copper, monitor at Coolidge, effective 3/6/23 to 5/29/23.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Brian,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. Item 8D, requests for extension to leave of absence.
It is recommended that the following requests for extensions to leaves of absence be approved. Ms. Bonnie Swanson, first grade teacher Wilson, effective 1/5/23 to approximately 8/1/23.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Brian,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. No. Item 8E, extracurricular recommendations for the 22-23 school year, and there's a bunch of them here.
Right, they're for lunch duty, lunch duty teachers. The GCSD9 administration is recommending the following extracurricular recommendations for the 22-23 school year be approved, and they are listed below.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Brian,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. Item 8F is certified and classified substitutes.
It is recommended that the following applicants be board approved as substitutes, yay, for the 22-23 school year. Certified, Mr. Brian Gibbons, Jordan Jackson, Amanda McMichael. Classified, Esmeralda Cortez, Dylan Person, Alyssa Schellenberg, and Renee Vansel. We're very happy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for heeding the call, we appreciate that.
Yes.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Brian,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. Employment, item 8G1, rescind Prather Pre-K paraprofessional recommendation. That one?
Yes. You have received detailed information about this item. The administration is prepared to make recommendations or hold for discussion in executive session. Due to Kimberly Jackson declining the offer of the 22-23 Prather Pre-K paraprofessional position at Prather Attendance Center, the administration has requested rescinding the recommendation.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Brian,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. Item 8G2 is employment of 7 custodians for the 22-23 school year.
You received detailed information about this item. The administration is prepared to make recommendations or hold for discussion in executive session. The employment, GCSD9 administration and the interview committee consisting of Jim Parker, Eric Smith, and Pat Curry are recommending the employment of the following custodian positions for the 22-23 school year. Ryan Jekyll, Brandy Johnson, Craig Jordan, John Million, Teresa Phelps, Terry Russell, and John Weiser. Craig Jordan is being recommended for the next available permanent position. Ryan Jekyll was a sub, Randy Johnson was a sub, Craig Jordan is a sub, John Million is a sub, Terry Russell is a sub, Teresa Phelps, I think, was a full-time cook, and John Weiser is an outside candidate.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? I guess just one question, so these going in order then, is that how these happen?
They were just alphabetical order is what they were listed here.
So it's bringing all 7 on at once?
Yes,
Okay.
all of them but Craig Jordan. Craig Jordan, we have an individual that is finalizing some paperwork to possibly quit, retire, and once that's committed, then that Craig Jordan will fall right into his position. that's the way we're doing that. But right now, we have that many openings.
Wow,
So that's how many custodians have retired.
wow. Big
Well,
turnover.
Yes.
Move to approve. Do we already do that?
Yeah. She's ready, man, everybody's in a hurry tonight, thank you, appreciate that, roll call please, Zach.
None, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
Holmesmeyer.
Aye, item 8H1 is employment of Granite City High School Assistant Principal.
You
23-24 school year, I'm sorry.
You have all received detailed information about this item below and in previous correspondence. The administration is prepared to make recommendations or hold for discussion in executive session. The GCSD9 administration and the interview committee, which consisted of myself, Executive Director Human Resources Jim Parker, the new GCHS principal Tim McChristian, Dr. David Keel, Ms. Kristen DeVasquez Caverna, Ms. Vicki Watkins, and Mr. Steve Mathis are all recommending unanimously the appointment of Mr. Marvin Battle as an assistant principal at Granite City High School for the 23-24 school year. He'll be placed at category 7, step 1 on an administrative salary schedule.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? And roll call please.
Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Holmesmeyer.
Aye. Item 8H2 is employment of GCHS math teacher.
You have received detailed information about the item. The administration is prepared to make recommendations or hold for discussion in executive session. GCSD9 administration and interview committee consisting of Denise Albright, Chris Hutchings, and Steve Mathis are recommending the employment of Ms. Bailey Frank as a Granite City High School math teacher for the 23-24 school year. Approval is recommended pending the submission of the required paperwork.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? And roll call please.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Holmesmeyer.
Aye. No old business tonight, under new business, item 10A is Wilson Elementary Education Center tuck pointing bid.
I will read this off, and if you have any questions, we can ask Mr. Smith. The GCSD9 administration requests that the Board of Education award Stott Inc. the Wilson Elementary Center tuck pointing bid number 11-23. This is a project that will eliminate water intrusion into the brick. Stott Inc. was the only bidder for this project. Total cost of the bid is $238,970. Approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Eric didn't have to say.
Any discussion?
Hey Eric, I'm gonna make you say something.
Yeah, I was.
Can you just say real quick how much of the school
That is
this
the
encompasses?
entire building. If you've been in Wilson School, there's corners of the building, especially the library, it's water's coming through, so all that's gonna be fixed.
They're the only bidder, but is this in line with what you were looking for?
Yes, in fact, Stat was one of the, only bidders at the high school on one of our jobs, and we had a different one, come in, but for the timeline that this job has to be done, Stat was the only one that was able to do that. And they did all the high school, they've done all of our top 20 reports.
And the cost is similar to what the high school was
Yes,
on a
yes,
square foot basis?
yes, and actually they are, waterproofing the building, once they're done, they're putting on a spray waterproofing with this.
Excellent. Very good. I think we had a motion and a second?
Yes.
Okay, roll call please.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Holmesmeyer.
Aye. And spending some more money here at Wilson. Item 10B is the Wilson Elementary Education Center sidewalk.
Their GCSD9 administration requests that the Board of Education award Brucon Construction Services the Wilson Elementary Center sidewalk due to low bid specifications. Brucon Construction was at $64,932. Stutz Excavating was at $70,950. This is definitely needed with the summer project that he's gonna talk about in a little bit. You'll see how the importance of this, and approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Knogle,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Holmesmeyer.
Aye. Item 10C, and a third project at Wilson this summer is the parking lot asphalt bid.
Yes, the GCSD9 administration requests that the BOE award Chris Brothers Asphalt Inc. the Wilson Elementary Center parking lot asphalt bid due to low bid specifications. Chris Brothers Asphalt was at $124,700. Stutz Excavating was at $178,350. this is gonna change the whole approach at Wilson School in the morning, drop-offs,
Good.
allowing that parking and bus lines to come in that neighborhood. I think the people will be very happy that we're doing it. And it makes it safer for kids. They can come in right off the bus. So approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Curran,
Aye.
Nunn, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knoble,
Aye.
Wamsler.
Aye. And moving over to Grigsby for a project,
Yeah.
parking lot asphalt bid there as well.
And you're gonna see all these cool things in his presentation. I feel like I'm kind of stealing the thunder a little bit. The administration requested the DOE award Chris Brothers the Grigsby Intermediate School parking lot due to low bid specifications. If you've been by there, you can see where we did tear out trees in order to put all that up. Mr. Smith and I have the plan that once we have all this done this summer, we will be replanting trees, because I make him, in certain areas, replanting ones that have been coming out and things like that. So just know that even though we have to do this for progress, but we will be replanting trees aesthetically in certain areas. So, the Christie Brothers asphalt bid is $233,000, Stutz Excavating is $308,100, and approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
So I noticed Chris Brothers was the last person too. Not a, I mean, I don't know how big they
No,
are.
Chris Brothers actually makes the asphalt,
Yes.
that everybody is gonna buy.
Okay.
And one thing with all of our bids, we make sure their, Illinois Department of Public Transportation bid specs are on our asphalt, so we're getting top of the line material.
But they won't have a problem getting both of them done this summer?
No.
Okay, all right.
And roll call, please.
Nunn, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knoble,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
Wamsler.
Aye. Item 10E is at Grigsby, also the sidewalk project.
Right, that's in the inner area and up by the office, correct, Eric?
Office and all up front.
That's the front. So, the GCSD9 administration requested the BOE award Brucon Construction Services, the Grigsby Intermediate School sidewalk concrete bid due to the low bid specifications. Brucon Construction Services came in at $72,247. Stutz Excavating came in at $76,400. There is an alternate. You wanna explain this alternate bid, Eric?
The alternate, whenever I show you the slide, it's a, area between the two entrances to where we're gonna have a large concrete pad for the kids to congregate on, or bus drop off or pickup. It'll be a large concrete area instead of mud and grass, because you know how that is with the pickup area, so that's where that is.
So approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? I guess just,
So
are we accepting,
72 plus 38, is that
are we
what
accepting
we're
the
on?
Yes,
alternate?
yes.
Oh,
It-
I'm sorry. Brucon Construction Services, $38,992. Stutz Excavating, $45,300.
Yes, it comes to a total of $111,239 is the total, but that's the entire front of Grigsby.
This
We're
one,
accepting,
This one.
yeah, the bid with the alternate.
Because that's the.
Yeah, that's, okay, that's what I thought. I thought she.
Yes.
Can I ask, is that on the left side of the building, on the back end where the kids go in for the dance?
No,
just in
this
the
is
middle.
all out front, that horseshoe
All in the
shaped
front.
area, yeah, this is all, in the entire front of that building will have all new concrete.
Okay, and the lighting already looks wonderful there. If you've been by there, the lighting is amazing.
Yeah.
There too. Mr. Smith's done a great job of updating all those.
Roll call, please.
Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knoble,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
Nunn, I, Wamsler.
Aye. Seems to be facilities maintenance night. So purchase of a cargo van.
And if you've seen the old cargo van, they would really understand. You probably should just put a picture. You've seen it,
I've seen
okay.
it around.
That's all
And we're still running it,
That's all you're
we'll probably
really
still be
know.
using it.
Our fleet of maintenance vehicles is aging. That's a nice way to put that. We are requesting permission to purchase a 2023 Ford Transit 150 cargo van. Vehicle inventory is scarce, and after calling several dealers, Morrow Brothers Ford Inc. gave us a price on a new 2023 Transit 150 cargo van. We are requesting the board approve the purchase of this van from Morrow Brothers Inc. at $50,540. Did we have any other? That was the cheapest.
Whenever I called Weber, they told me good luck getting one, and I think whenever Talon talked to me, I had a request in already for a van. And whenever Morrow Brothers got a hold of me and said, hey, we have a van, I said, well, hold it.
And it's in the right price range. We
Yes,
haven't looked
yeah,
at it.
it's in a state bid, so we're getting
Approval is
that.
recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knoble,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. And item 10G is a district local economic development high impact tutoring grant.
Well, before I read this, Dr. Keel loves when I send him grant opportunities. Where is he? He loves when I say, hey, can you look into this one? And then he does it and he gets it. So how wonderful is that? So the Granite City School District received a $157,000 grant to be used towards an after-school tutoring program. Permission is requested to offer this to select students in grades kindergarten, first and second grade. Grant funds will be used for teacher salaries, busing, and curriculum for the program. This program will begin hopefully in March and end in May. The brief synopsis, it's offered to select kindergarten, first, second grade students. Students will be selected based on data from ISIL, title, teacher, and attendance data. No more than 5 students per teacher, which I love, that it's a small group. 25 students per building, not grade level. Total number of students served in each building will be 25. And IEP and ESL students will be served in the program as well, which is a nice perk. Is there anything you want to add to this, Dr. Gill?
No, it is a grant that it's not just for this year, so it should be ongoing, so, and it's, this
Well,
district
we
does
keep
need
it
an
to-
after-school tutoring program for
gosh.
sure. And it wouldn't be successful if we didn't offer transportation. I think a lot of parents want some help for their child, but they just don't have transportation all the time because they're running other kids and things like that, so, I think it is gonna certainly benefit a good group of kids at kindergarten, first and second grade. The hard part now is trying to put it all together, and, the state gives it to us in like February. So
Right, and then we're
it
trying
would've
to
been
find
nice to have it
teachers.
done in the summer.
Yeah.
We do have student teachers that can actually, if we don't have enough of our teachers, student teachers can get paid now during the thing. And I think, I have to point out that Mr. Irving and Dr. Kill work very closely on trying to figure out the transportation, because it's not that easy. They have to be available when the buses are available, so they did a great job for the.
Yeah, no, but I'm excited about it. I think
I
this is
do. I
something
think it's
that
gonna be
has needed
great.
for a long time, so.
So approval is recommended, all this work.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second, I'll just add, this is huge.
Mhm.
Because we have so many students that are really struggling, especially coming out of COVID and not just getting it yet. And this is a great opportunity to get them caught up and start.
And we're hoping that it's also going to, hopefully reduce some of these kids who would maybe end up with an IEP, receiving special ed
Yes.
services. If we can get them early, get them
That's
quick,
what we're hoping.
get them additional, basically, lengthen their school day, then I think it would be beneficial for that as well, so.
We're excited about it. We're hoping we can pull it off here by.
And it'll be
March.
much better next year
Oh, sure.
than it is what we're gonna do for the next 2 months, because we'll be a lot smarter by then and have more time to plan.
And to
But
give us all that money
it's,
in February, we were like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to spend all of that this year, but I will spend all of it next year.
We were very happy.
David, can I ask a question? How much input does a classroom teacher have in terms of suggesting
Those
areas
data.
of concern that they have
Yes.
with the child, with the student?
Yes, they will have input, and so will the title teachers also. The title
The
teachers,
data.
really have a lot of good data with the ISIL test at that grade level, kindergarten, first and second. It's really good test assessment because it's 1-to-1. So it's really the best test that we give in this district, and it's from the state, but it's a teacher who sits down with a child, so it's a 1-to-1, so there is no better assessment than that. So that right there gives you a whole lot of data. They've already done that in the fall, and they do that in the mid-year also. So they have some good data to look at there, and then look at some of the classroom teacher data, and then talking to building principals also. And we'll make a list of those students, because some students will be able to attend and some won't, because you're always gonna have to have more, because some parents may say, we're not gonna be able to do this, it doesn't work for our schedule, those types of things, so.
But we're hoping that we can get some kids in.
There's also flexibility built in, like where they can graduate out of that basically, and then you can.
Yes,
go back to
absolutely,
that.
Sure.
yes. And we'd hope to do that maybe a quarter semester or something like that,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
And
think
then,
that's
if you can
especially
get
for
that
next
with
year,
summer
that'd be great.
school, you could really.
Well, a
Maybe
lot
you
of
know,
these
have an
kids,
impact.
especially this age group right now, post-COVID, like, there's so much just basic exposure
That's right.
that many of them haven't gotten, or just that quality one-on-one interaction, no fault to the parents necessarily, but
No.
that's gonna be really great for
If you
them.
can get a teacher with 5 kids,
Oh, that's
awesome.
that's huge.
Yeah, that'll be great.
We're excited.
And those grades are often left out when it comes to tutoring, so I'm glad to
Yes.
see the early ages are getting them, that's awesome.
We're happy.
Well, those are important
Yeah.
years.
Absolutely, yeah, it's the foundation, so that's what we tackle.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knoble,
Aye.
Curran,
Aye.
none, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. Item 10H is alt ed and pre-K through 7th grade summer school proposal.
Okay, permission is requested to offer a pre-K through 7th grade summer school program. Pre-K through 3rd grade classes will be housed at Prather Elementary Center, and grades 4 through 7 will be housed at Lake School. Students attending the alternative education program at Lake will be offered summer school also. All programs will be Monday through Friday. Student hours are 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Students will receive breakfast and lunch daily. Summer school is June 1st, 2023 through June 29th, 2023. All classes are in person and busing will be offered. Approval is recommended. We're just really happy about that as well.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? And roll call, please.
Knoble,
Aye.
Kern,
Aye.
Nunn, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye.
I have a question real quick. So is this more like targeted like for kids that need summer school, or can I send my
Yes.
like? I'm looking for something for my son to do.
Summer school.
I got some things for you to
Your
say.
son could teach something.
Erica has
250 volts.
But it's targeted for like the kids that need it
Yes, it
most
is.
and stuff.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
yes, it is targeted for those students. Again, we're looking at that same data throughout the year. We'll be looking at the end of the year ISO test score, also to watch that student growth. And a lot of times, teachers have a big impact on that because they send those names to the building principal also. Because we look at attendance, we look at a lot of different things on that. So if you've got a new kid that came in February or March and they're behind because maybe they came from another school district or something, so teachers really look closely at that a lot. So.
Excellent. Item 10I is high school summer school proposal.
Permission is requested to offer a Grand City High School summer school program. Classes will be housed at Coolidge Junior High this year due to the HVAC installation at the high school pretty much the whole summer. I talked to Ms. Petrella and we kind of talked about they needed some kind of incentive. It's $100 per class, will be reduced to $50 after the successful completion of the course, as the goal is to get them to come, and there has to be something in it for them, and so it'll be reduced if they finish. Summer school is June 1st, 2023 through June 29th, 2023. It'll be in person with some online courses. There'll be no transportation provided by the district at the high school level. Approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? And roll call, please.
Kern,
Aye.
Nunn, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knoble,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye.
$50 a class is awesome.
No, we were like, okay,
Yeah.
she was all like,
Item 10J is the Illinois School District Liquid Asset Fund Resolution.
I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna send it to Zach, to answer any questions. GCSD is, I got that explanation, but just, GCSD9 administration recommends that the BOE approve the following resolution to invest in the Illinois School District Liquid Asset Fund. This is just reauthorizing and updating our paperwork as it was updated. We've been doing this, Mr. School, Zach, how long?
We haven't used the account in a while, and the account predated my predecessor
Yeah.
for who was on it, so they asked for us to just redo all the paperwork as an option.
And approval is recommended.
They're already on our approved designated depositories, they just needed new paperwork.
Which is right here, if you need to see it.
So moved.
Second, you're gonna read it.
Thank you. Any discussion? My only question is, there's 4 signature lines here. Do we pick any of the 4 board members to sign this, or does it matter, or?
Sure.
Okay, very good. Excellent.
You guys can run for that.
Roll call, please.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Nunn, I, Bryant, Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knoble,
Aye.
Kern,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. I'll start passing it around now. There you go. Item 10K is the FY23 per diem rates.
I kind of brought this to Zach's attention because we are so behind on what rates we had for lunch, especially with all the raises in food and costs. So the GCSD9 administration recommends that we approve the following 2023 per diem rates for meals allowances when traveling. These rates are the per diem rates for the 6204 zip code based on the U.S. General Services Administration website. So we're just going with what they suggested. So breakfast is 13, lunch is 15, and dinner is 26. Approval is recommended. It's just in line with the general GSA.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? And roll call, please.
Bryant,
Aye.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knoble,
Aye.
Kern,
Aye.
Nunn, I, Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. Item 10L is a Chromebook purchase bid.
Right, also again with the digital reprint. The GCSD9 administration requested the Board of Education award the following Chromebook purchase bid 623 based on low bid specifications to Trufera. Will purchase 1,500 Chromebooks for first, fifth, and ninth grade students with digital funding for the 23-24 school year. These devices are necessary to keep us on the 4-year replacement cycle and to continue with one-to-one services for students. Due to availability and supply chain delays, we are requesting the order to order the devices as soon as possible. Trufera's quote was $272 per device. At 1,500 devices is $408,000. How do you pronounce this? Just SHI, Brad?
Yeah.
As $494.06 per device. Huge difference. And 9 to 5 did not put in a bid. The price includes the device, the Chrome license, the 4-year accidental damage warranty, and the white glove services to pre-enroll, unbox, and bulk ship devices. Approval is recommended.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second.
Pretty big difference, are we getting up, like, is there any quality loss in this?
No, this was for the same model across the board, so it's probably buying power of the
Yeah.
winner.
Just,
Do you think they'll be ready for next school year?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing we gotta get done.
And how much of this is
Whether or
funded by
not,
the grant?
all of it.
All of it's
We
funded
got
by
the
the
digital
grant?
about to grant,
Yeah.
you about to like finish your cart, like as soon as we approve it?
He's on his phone over there.
Yeah, you gotta-
We're shipping now. No.
Brad's gonna have a conversation with his wife tonight about quarterback.
Roll call, please, Mr. Melvin.
Stacy,
Aye.
Vinnie,
Aye.
Knogle,
Aye.
Kern,
Aye.
none, I, Bryant,
Aye.
Wilmsmeyer.
Aye. And item 10M, we're getting down to the end of it here, folks, hang in there. Disposal of AV equipment.
I think it's listed below. The GCSD9 administration requests the DOE approve the following request to dispose of any equipment that is old, obsolete, broken, or too costly to repair. I don't think I need to read all these, right? We use a spare some of them until a couple went out, and approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Very good. Speed it up here. Item 10N, the school calendar for the 23-24 school year.
I have a little explanation of this too. The GCSD9 administration requests the DOE approve their recommendation to adopt the attached calendar, option calendar A for the 23-24 school year. Members from Teachers Union 16743 reviewed both and voted about half-half to recommend the calendar option B. The reason we went with A, we made some modifications that they liked in the calendar B. So we changed the last day to a half day, gave one on a Monday, so we did make some changes to kind of go with what they wanted in the other calendar, so it isn't like we went, no. We've made some changes, so I think that everybody will be happy with that calendar participant.
Recommending calendar A.
Calendar A is recommended.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Very good. On to reports and other communications.
We're gonna go into two different. No, we'll go into this one. Freedom of Information Act, Julie. We're gonna
It
start
was
with that.
actually, okay, we'll
Should
start
we
with
just
that
start with that one?
Freedom of Information Act.
And we received three requests from the Freedom of Information Act during the period of January 18, 23 through February 21st, 23. The first, do I need to go through these? Tom, do I?
They were all handled by the administration.
Yeah, they were all handled by the administration. There were 3 of them, and then the so approval is recommended. We don't need approval. No. Everybody?
We're good. Okay, on to presentations. What do you want to do first? Eric Smith?
I think we'll do Eric's. We'll just do Eric's. Mr. Smith is going to present the facilities improvements that we're gonna be doing over the summer. There's quite a few. We're pretty excited. You've got a preview of some of them, and you're approving asphalt bids and such. But he's gonna go over some of the things we're gonna be doing in the summer of this year. Take it away, Mr. Smith. Well, in a minute.
We're getting there.
Not going too good right now.
There you go.
Can we make
You don't have this memorized?
Can you put it on the presentation mode?
If you hit Windows P, it may let you swap those.
Yeah, we're on the wrong screen here. Brad?
I think this is gonna do it. Yeah, I think this is gonna do it. No, no. Well, we don't have to do it.
Where's your presentation mode?
Swapped. Because it's shown, but it needs to be the other way around.
I know.
And you're looking
And
right
I'm
here.
looking right at you.
No,
There's
it's
right
not.
behind
Do you have
you.
existing desktop? Change it to desktop.
I was like,
Yep, there you go. Yep,
all right, I
swap.
wanna hear this.
Sorry, man.
That's fine. That's fine. That goes with my department.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
Oh, here we go, here we go. Thank you,
One thing we're gonna do this summer, one of the things is gonna be the Coolidge lift station. Since we repaired the sewer line from a broken sewer pipe for many years, we're finally going to replace the pumps. Sidewalk at Grigsby and parking lot, you can see the picture to the right. This is kind of the rough sketch of how much asphalt we're gonna put in front of the building, and you can see up against the building, the concrete pad that is the alternate to where the drop-off area would be, so kids could go either door. We're hoping to be able to stack maybe 60, 70 cars in this parking lot, so that'd get a lot of vehicles off of Cargill Road and still have parking. Wilson parking lot, you can see in the right, that is the entire front of the building almost is gonna be asphalt. The two big oak trees, unfortunately, we are gonna have to cut down. And the sidewalk is between the yellow and red line. That is gonna be an 8-foot walk from the existing city sidewalk all the way up to the building, 20 foot from the building. So there can be bus drop off and possibly parking in the center to where the teachers park now could be a parent drop off for their kids. So they're actually, everybody is off the street and still have room for buses. Frohard, we have the roof purchased. It's actually in our building down at our warehouse on Adams. That will be this summer. Intercom at the high school, we have a very old intercom in there. Half of them work, half of them don't. So we are going to update with the CareHawk system so it integrates our whole district together. So if there's a call that needs to go out from the board office, it will be able to go to all buildings. Tuck pointing at Wilson, this is just some of the caulk patchwork around the building. This is original mortar that's in this building. Very little tuck pointing in the past. There's a lot of moisture that goes into this building, so we're going to correct that. High school HVAC, which you've already approved. This is actually going to start a little sooner than what we thought. We're looking within the next 2 weeks to have contractors nights at the high school. They're going to start nights to remove ceiling tile and start running some duct work. Doors throughout the building. We've purchased Prox readers in meetings past, almost a year ago. Some of them have been purchased. But whenever we get those, we're going to have new doors for those to go on, and we have a lot of bad doors in the district that still have to be chained during the night. We're going to get rid of all those doors and replace. Playground fencing, we're looking to fence some of the playgrounds.
for the kids for safety, like Wilson's for one, is kind of dangerous with a alley right there on the side. So we're going to take some fencing down that and around the playgrounds. High school lab, this is one that we were kind of hoping to get in a little sooner, but it might be a little later. The reason is with the HVAC work that's going on in the building, we're going to have a lot of conflicts, I'm afraid. And with the contractor or the individual who makes this, the counters and countertops and everything, they are scheduled already for this summer. So we're kind of looking maybe towards Christmas, but that's still going to be tough on scheduling because what I'd like to have is all the old HVAC equipment out of that building so we have a fresh plate for them to actually install the new lab.
And how
So,
old that lab is?
it's both labs. This is the biology lab and the upstairs science lab. So if we're unable to do it this summer, we'll definitely have it next summer, or this year I should say. If we're unable to do it Christmas, that looks like our time frame. We have a very short window. And if we're unable to get that, this will have to happen next summer. But we're trying to get it. At least if it doesn't happen, we'll be on schedule. Security door at Grigsby. If you've been in Grigsby, it's a real close little entrance area there. We're going to move that door into the office a little bit, have a seating area out there for parents, have a pass-through window so that there can be communication instead of through a piece of glass. Grigsby painting, it's actually ongoing now. We're going to redo all the lockers, paint all the lockers. We've already started on the classrooms. We have a painter at night that's doing that. And so this summer we should have the interior of that building and exterior painted. And parking lot sealing, we'll be doing that this summer. This is Maryville. This is one we did last summer. We're going to continue doing that with our parking lots and try to keep up on some routine maintenance. Playground mulch, every playground needs it. There isn't one that doesn't. They're all in bad shape. So those will all get their proper depth of mulch this summer. Thank you.
I'm just happy about his PowerPoint, just saying. Nice job. Yeah.
Or we can call it his.
He's around, he runs around all day, there's something to be done every day, all day. Just understands that, so so many of them, we just tried to push so many things that needed to be done, and I'm glad that we're able to.
This will be a busy summer.
Yeah.
A lot of great projects going. To make parents and the whole district very, very proud. Appreciate that. Next presentation? Thank you, Kurt.
Let's have, I'm gonna introduce, Miss Donna White, if you wanna come on up, Donna. She, I'll just go, I don't know, do you wanna, where do you just kinda wanna stand? Or you wanna
I'll probably go over here where I can see
She,
more of the people.
she's gonna give a little
That's okay.
background of herself, but, since I started, even started in COVID of July 2020, I knew, and I was talking to Kristen too, Ms. Moss-Brennan, knowing that we had a lot of programs going on, a lot of things going on in the district that were a little bit, just so much to know and to do. And we realize now that we actually have some time to think about things other than sanitation and all those types of issues, staff sickness and student sickness. I was really excited to go visit her at Collinsville when she was doing a presentation. So I'm gonna let her do most of her introduction. So you're gonna see she's been doing a needs assessment for the last 5 days of the district, gone around to all the K-4 schools, talked to teachers, talked to principals. So she's gonna kind of give us some feedback. So hopefully we could bring her in. She's gonna save us some money on a lot of programs that are overlapping and see if we can do a proposal we'll have for the next time to see how we're gonna bring her to the district. We're really fortunate to even have her be here. So she's busy all over. So take it away.
I take the red eye to California tonight. I wonder what I'll look in the classrooms tomorrow morning, but that's okay. Thank you for having me. My name is Donna White. I come out of the state of New York. When people say they're from Illinois, I know that many of you can relate to the experiences I have. People say, oh, You're from Chicago? That is what happens when I say I'm from New York. I grew up on a farm in upstate New York, almost to the Canadian border. And so I lived in a town much smaller than Granite City. So I'm not from the city of New York. I want to apologize if the first time you heard my name was on a Facebook post. I made a statement that was misrepresented in my own view, but I did make it, and I should not have, because basically I was not hired to come here and comment on your school construction or configuration. I was hired to come to talk about your kids' level of literacy and what we can do to change it. So I wanted to make that very clear. My website is donnajwhite.com. I would like to invite anyone in the room that sees anything there, any of the books that I've written, teachers included, and I extend that to your whole district, whether you decide to hire me or not. I am more than happy to give any of my books away to a school that brings me in to speak in digital form. So if you write to me at that website and say, you can't teach a class, you can't manage, I will send it to you at no cost to your district. So I tell people on the road I have 3 jobs. I'm a mom. I do consider that my first job. How many of you are parents? And I'll tell you that if everyone took care of the kids who lived in their houses, our jobs would all be easier. And so I put the kids whose lives I will affect most are all grown up now, unfortunately. But I know that people that are in education give their lives to other people's kids. And so, very important role. My second job, I am a certified teacher in New York State. I have been for 30 years almost. In my state, we keep our certification no matter what we do. So I'm lifelong certified, which is scary, okay? But, and then I am privileged to speak on a national stage. So I work as a consultant. For years, I was being picked up at an airport and speaking at reading conferences. I've spoken in every state in this country except for Hawaii. If somebody has a relative, help me out, okay? So I can say all states. I work as a consultant because I wrote a book about managing and working with kids. It took me on the road for the International Literacy Association, which was a great time. I've worked for ASCD, the Association for, wait a minute, something in curriculum. It's not standards. I'm so used to all of the acronyms, but ASCD is your national organization for supervision in curriculum development. I am privileged to work with Illinois' division of that. How did I get here? So I was working on a stage and I got a phone call in 2015 from an ROE, your Regional Office of Education, not yours. It was actually the one in St. Clair County saying, we need help in East St. Louis. I never stepped foot in East St. Louis in my life, but decided to give it a whirl. That was an experience I was not perhaps prepared for. I had to be escorted to my car at night out of the schools, and I wasn't used to that. That's not where I grew up, in farm country. But I decided to stay, and I spent 5 years in East St. Louis. We now have 3 commendable schools. I'm not going to claim any. The teachers did that. If I played some small role as their reading consultant, I'm pretty thrilled. But I spent 5 years with them. From that work, I spun off to Collinsville, Belleville, and you can see how long I've been with them. Last week, I told Belleville it's time to cut me loose. I have now trained their instructional coaches to a point where they don't need me anymore. And the superintendent said, we've never had a consultant that fired herself, but that's what I need to do at this point. They are ready to fly, and I'm proud of them. Sparta, I've been with them 6 years on and off. My topics include classroom management, literacy, data, student and family engagement. That's where my expertise lies. These are my other contracts right now: California, Nevada, Ohio, and Oklahoma. My heart is classroom management. I am the kid that nobody wanted in their class. I was actually thrown out of school 3 times in my education experience, and then went on to write a best-selling book on classroom management. So I don't know, only in America, okay? And while that's my heart, literacy is my passion, because too many of our kids are falling through the cracks, and we can't allow it to happen anymore. So we are in a really cool place right now, even though we have bad news. 65, some people say up to 67% of our 4th graders do not read in the nation, not just in Granite City. You may even be a little above this, read below grade level. That's unacceptable. in the amount of money that we have funneled into title, into special ed, into RTI, race to the top, no child left behind. How can this be happening to us? And we know my chance of catching you, and I can teach kids to read, and still my chance of catching you if you get to 4th grade, not on grade level, is 8%. It's a heartbreak. So we look and say, reading is the skill and is the path by which children travel to all other subjects. I knew a little guy recently who said to me, I hate school, Mrs. White. And I said, you always loved school. He said, only because of math. And now why does he hate school? Because the math problems, he can't read any longer. So he loved math until he couldn't read them. Reading is that skill. So I want to share some data because I don't want you to take my word for it. I want to show you that this is a school, one of those that was listed in your area with the same types of students that you service. This is our beginning of the year scores this year. We have far too many kids below grade level. We're beating the national average, but not by much, guys, okay? This is us mid-year. I am proud of the hard work and dedication of the teachers who have dug deep to look and say, what do we need to do different to get better results? This is the 1st grade. You can see the 2nd grade. We're really good at moving kids who are above, and we've been working at this. This is our 3rd year. So we had more blue to begin with, but we definitely have to eliminate more and more of the red. I'm proudest of this with the teachers who teach 3rd and 4th because we have no idea that we are challenging those teachers with a task that isn't really doable. We are sending you kids and expecting you to teach content. You are now content teachers, 3, 4, 5 up, but you can't read. So how are you going to learn the content? So we know that this is huge for those teachers to be able to move them when everything surrounds, I have to teach content. I can't also be teaching a child how to read at the same time. So 3rd grade. I love data that's on the money. I'm going to share that this is Belleville because you don't know whose class this is. So this is a Belleville school. I work in 118. And they are using a systematic phonics approach that is explicit. And the results we're seeing are very encouraging. But every teacher, how many teachers sitting in the room tonight? Anybody be happy with that line down at the bottom where you go from a child that didn't know it up to a child that has mastered it? And only in several months because we gave them the tools to absolutely look and say, what do I need to change today? I'm not going to wait until the test in March. I don't have time. I need to know what to change today. So data is very important to me. I'm proud in Belleville right now. We just did our data walks 2 weeks ago. I spent 10 days in that district doing data chats with teachers and administrators. We have several schools now with no students outside of the ones with IEP in the red at the 1st grade level. That is huge because it means we won't send you to 3rd not reading. That's the bottom line. So they're doing a great job. One of our biggest accomplishments in a different school district will have been our ability to reduce special education referrals. That is huge because it allows us to keep our resources with the kids who need them most, the kids who really need them, a place where we often can't intervene. So districts close to you have had great success. They want to share. I reached out to Belleville. I said, what if a team came up and wanted to visit and to see how we put this together? Collinsville, would you let us come into a classroom that's using a program that they might be considering? Because if you think a publisher's presentation ever comes here and says, you might not want to buy us, okay? That doesn't happen. So we need the people that are using it, and that's the teachers, the people that have to administrate these programs. And so I went out to visit your schools, and I went out to talk to teachers, and I believe I ended up hitting 78 or close to it. At first I thought class size was going to be a concern because one of the buildings started talking to me about class size, and you can see that turned out to be like not really a big deal. But what did turn out to be a big deal, 69 of the teachers that I spoke to wanted to talk to me about curriculum, wanted to understand, I'm working hard every day, but I'm not getting any results. So what's going on? Some teachers wanted to talk about assessment and data, and then management, classroom management. Kids don't have great social emotional skills right now. So what are we doing in those three areas? Collaboration with title, yeah, we talked, but it didn't seem to be as concerning to people. So let's start with this one curriculum, okay? As a national consultant, you come in and you want to know first line of defense. So our first line of defense is your Tier 1 curriculum. It is set across the nation. I'm going to give Granite City a little leeway. 80% of kids should be able to. I'm going to go with, I'll take 70. 70% of your children should be able to be successful with Tier 1 curriculum without a teacher killing herself to find extras. I asked teachers, do you have that? I didn't get one yes, not one. So that's where I would start. I would look to that. You cannot intervene at Tier 2 and Tier 3 if you don't have a strong Tier 1 coming in. So then I began to think, what do teachers know about the latest science? Now, some of you may have heard about the science of reading. This is going to explode. If you have not heard about it and you're a podcast listener, there is a podcast called Sold a Story by Emily Hanford. She talks about how we ended up here. She's an investigative journalist, and I think she's blown up education like Watergate was blown up. She basically had a fourth grader that couldn't read and wanted to know how this could happen in the United States. And so she went looking for answers. We now have figured out that the science that would have shown us best practices just never made it to us, the people who were teaching. See, because neuroscientists don't talk education language. Cognitive sciences don't talk education language. So there's been a kind of a disconnect between the way we know the brain reads and the way we've been teaching. This is so big in the United States. People want to tell me this is another shift on it, it'll go away. Trust me, it's not going away, and you'll see why in a second. It's not going away. There are states legislating now, and you're coming up on it. And so the truth is, this is the first time that we've said, what we do really doesn't work. If 67% of our fourth graders can't read, we're doing something wrong. And so the science is not a curriculum. So if somebody says, we need to get that science of reading curriculum, there is no science of reading curriculum. There are people that are approved within the scientific field to present a way to teach. So science of reading was one of my questions. The readingleague.org is a nonprofit. They have no skin, kind of like, I don't know anyone in Granite City, I have no skin in this game to say nice things about somebody or not nice things about somebody. The Reading League doesn't either when it comes to reading. They are nonprofit. You have your own chapter in Illinois. We have our own chapter in New York, and that's an awesome thing. They're offering us guidelines because they're saying don't invest your money in the wrong programs, because when the state legislates, we have to be ready. We have to get in front of the 8 ball. The truth be told, there's no excuse for poor outcomes anymore. We'll tell you, as I read this and went to visit Dr. David Kilpatrick out in Cortland University, I couldn't believe it when he told me, Donna, the research shows up, there's only 5% of kids who have such severe cognitive impairments that it would make reading very difficult for them. 5%? What does that leave then? You mean 95% could learn to read? Yes. So let's break it down. 95% of our students, it is said, and some of you are these people, that 30% of you would learn to read without anybody teaching you. You would pick it up by being exposed to print and oral language and all of a sudden be a reader. But that's still going to leave us with the 65%. 50% need great Tier 1 instruction, and 15% need more time and support. Not a ton of more new things, more time and more support in learning the different things. So, which states have already passed science of reading laws? It's on its way. In Illinois, it will come. And so, New York's not on here either. I can't believe that Mississippi beat us both. I mean, that's just, something not right with this. But the things that they're looking at are things like PD, but the two that jump out at me are, do we have the right assessments and are we teaching with the right materials? And if a state's gonna come in and say you can only use the approved materials that have been selected according with the newest research, then you want to make sure that you didn't waste your money on something that didn't come in that way. So I asked your teachers. I needed them to self-assess, and they were super honest with me. Some of them, I know you were probably wondering, oh gosh, I hope she doesn't say my name, and I promised I wouldn't, and I won't. They self-assessed, what do we know about the newest research in science of reading? 11 teachers gave themselves a 0. 3 of those teachers are brand new out of a local university. Shame on the university that they have not they have not flipped this yet. We've known about this for a couple of years. I know the pandemic slowed us down, but we certainly should be more on the bandwagon. 13 teachers gave themselves a 1, 17 a 2, 11 a 3, and you've got almost 3/4 of your teachers between a 0 and a 3. They need PD. They need support. They need to understand not what it is, how does it apply to my classroom? Tell me what to do tomorrow. Don't tell me about the theory and everything. Tell me what I can change to make it better for kids. And so you have a couple, I met one that I thought I'd take her on the road with me. She's got this. But she has spent oodles of her own time and money educating herself. And so we do have to look at that. Your teachers are exhausted. I didn't meet one that said, give us a few more things to do because we don't have enough to do every day. Not one, believe it or not. No, not a one. They all said, I'm tired, I'm beat up, done, I work really hard and I get no results. I don't know what to say because I'm doing the best I can with what I have. This is what you have. I found all of these programs in your building that are in the Wordle on the right. Some of them good, some of them a little scary, some of them really old, some of them definitely not aligned with the newest science that we know. And so how could you not be tired if you were a teacher out there going, just give me something that works. I'll take this, this, this. Wonders was your Basel series for reading. But Wonders is also a few years behind. It always took major hits for lack of phonics instruction, which under the new science, your teachers are shaking their head yes, but under the new science says that's the path forward, but that's where it's weak, and the other weakness was writing. It was a nationally known thing that Wonders kind of were weak in both of those. And it's imperative that we identify what should we be using, is it working, and how do we keep using that or take it away? I said to many of your teachers, if I told you I could make your job easier and I could also raise your scores, would you follow me? And most of them said, yes. And I said, okay, now I got bad news though. I'm gonna take the program you love most. Will you still follow me? Some hesitated, but they said, if the scores go up, I will, okay? They want that for the kids. So let's look at all children can learn. What do we know about a brain? If you are gifted or talented, like some of us in this room, it takes 1 to 4 repetitions to learn something. So I'm going to teach you something 1 to 4 times, you're probably going to gain it. Typical student needs to hear it 4 to 14. All those times I was a teacher and said, I have said this 10 times, honey. I was 4 off of what they needed, okay? That's what I decided. A struggling student, 14 to 40. And a learning disabled, 40 to 200. If I have all those programs, I'm never going to get the repetition that I need to ensure that you are successful. The next one was assessment and data. I began looking at, okay, what are we using to drive our instruction? When a teacher says to me, it's a lot, Donna, we have a lot of assessments and I do use it, but I don't always get to it. It tells me it's not easy enough. It's not quick enough for a teacher that's already overburdened to say, I need to press a button and know how many kids in here need this skill. And so we begin to look and say, what are our assessments and data? There's a lot of them out there, guys. These are the ones I heard about, some old, some aligned with programs that you owned at one time. 23 out of 73 of your teachers told me, none of the above helped me. You know what? I know what they need, or I've self-created something, which is great, but guys, we can't report that. And it's, you know, when it's our opinion, we still have to ask, where's the data that supports that? So the assessments, we have to look at those. The third one, I get it. You guys have rooms full of kids like me, okay? And I was tough. And so when I wrote You Can't Teach a Class You Can't Manage, I wrote it from the perspective of the kid that you couldn't manage, instead of someone who thought we should manage classrooms this way. The reality is lots of what we do actually create more behavior issues for us in classrooms. And one of the things that will drive kids to misbehave most is not being successful. You give them success. We all behave in places we want to be. When they don't want to be here, we ought to be questioning what's going on. So I wrote the SE built Social Emotional Behavioral Learning Progress Monitoring System for Illinois ASCD. I have shared it in California, in Nevada. I wrote strategies. Again, a teacher in this room, if you're, want those activities, you just write to me. I'll send them all to you. So the other thing is making students accountable. See, the teacher can work her butt off, his butt off. I can't make you learn. I can teach it, but I can't make you learn it. So where is the accountability? I feel like students need to work harder than the kids. And right now, the teachers are working harder than the kids. I mean, the students need to work harder than the teachers. And that's backwards right now. This comes down to, are students motivated? Are they held accountable? And what kind of discipline is in place? And I don't mean, what can we do to them? Please, we have to stop. What other consequence can we give them? Many of our kids live in a place none of us would last a day. I can't imagine we can do something worse to them than that. So I would say instead, what can we do for them? And how do we turn this around? So I'm going to use the example, and it just happens to be STAR data in Ohio, but I was in with a 7th grader, and between August and December, his score went down significantly, 40 points. I called him in, I had a data sheet, and I said, can you tell me what happened here? He filled it in, and he goes, oh, I went down. Yeah. So basically what happened is you came to school and we made you less smart. What are we going to do? He goes, no, you didn't, Mrs. White. I didn't sleep the night before. Okay, but babe, you're in an RTI class where you tell me you're bored all the time, taking a seat from a student that needs it based on data that we got from this. I need you to tell me what you can do differently and set a goal for this. We need to involve our children. I gave the sheet to many of your teachers. They tell me they want to try it. Make a data folder. Invest in them. So I said to him, what do you think you can get back? You went down 40 points. He said, 200. I said, okay, that's not reasonable, babe, okay? Let's get the 40 back and add a few. I said, maybe like 20, 60. He goes, 63. Let's write it. 63 points we're going to go up on the progress monitoring we were doing at the end of January. He wrote, I will sleep the night before under the things I will do to help meet my goal, but my favorite was number 2. I will actually try. His data coach reached out to me last week and said, I don't know if you have a few minutes down at a FaceTime, but someone's looking for you. And she said to me, Tyler went from an 865 to a 1068. And I said, tell him I'm looking for him, okay? He wanted to tell me that. He had a chance to have superintendent lunch with the superintendent. He turned it down and said, no, I want to talk to Mrs. White about it. So sorry, superintendent, but no, this was actually in Ohio. We have to get them invested in their own data. They have to know why we do it, why it's important. We've over-assessed them, and by doing that, we've made them think it's not important anymore. So looking at that, well, we are waiting around for change and others to step forward and be the hero. We don't realize, all of us in this room and in a school, we are their superheroes. We're it. We're all they got. So we have to do it right. My proposal, I think I would love to offer my services, and trust me, I have 9 now. Stephanie caught me at the right moment in a career where I was releasing 2. I would love to be a part of your district and looking at how do we get the right curriculum so teachers are not working too hard, that kids are working harder than they are. What do we do with the assessments we have? How do we train on how to interpret that assessment so I can use it tomorrow? So elementary core curriculum should be a focus right now. If you follow the research,
you have Michael Haggerty's work in phonemic awareness, and that's awesome, except for it's from 2004. So Michael died a decade ago, Dr. Haggerty, and I would say that we probably need to look at something more current in his line of, he left it to two women who have done a wonderful job bringing it forward. A review of the assessment, and perhaps telling our teachers why they exist. Because I too need to know why it's important. If you tell me we're getting another assessment and it's simply because we have to report to the state to keep our funding, then we need to know that. So we know the value of each one. But if you're telling me you gave me an assessment to drive instruction, then I need to know how to use that to drive my instruction. Prioritize and provide professional development. I probably am one of the few consultants, and I really believe that the districts that I named hired me because they were like, so you do management too? Reading management? Yeah. You do data? Yeah, we just hire one. Okay. So I do a lot of the professional development myself. And I want to work in the classrooms. No teacher wants somebody to come tell her how she could do it with kids unless I'm willing to climb in. I got to do that in one of your rooms. See, a little boy came in the other day in the K Center, and he handed the teacher the note, and the teacher said, you don't have a fever, hon, so you're probably okay. Why don't you just sit down? So he sat down with the group, and about 5 minutes later, we all went to the tables to do something, and you heard every kid scream. You turned around, this child was sick everywhere. And the teacher said, and I said, you take him, I'll take the rest, and we'll call the custodian. So I actually got to show, I'm a hands-on person. You've got to work with the people that work with the kids, not the people that direct it, the people who work with the kids to help them to figure the quickest path forward. And I'll leave you with this thought, that yes, parents may have the greatest impact on how their children come to us. But in the end, don't forget, those parents know that we have the greatest impact on how they leave us. And it's our job. How I set up my goal is, would I allow that for my child? Would I want my child in that class? Would I want my child to be treated that way? Would I want my child to have to struggle in learning the way this child does? And if the answer is no, then we have to do better. And when we know better, we do better. So I'm happy to send you a proposal if you are interested. If not, I am thrilled that you had me here. And, you know, Granite City is a cool little town. Like I said, much bigger than the one I grew up in. And I was thrilled to be a part of it. Everyone has been super friendly here and very open arms. So thank you for having me. And if I hope our paths cross again. Oh, thank you. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you, Donna. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much.
I'm gonna go catch a plane. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Where did I put that? My computer? Oh, goodness. It's okay. I get all the way to California without a computer, I'm gonna be in trouble. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Be careful, safe flight.
Thanks. Have a great night.
Thank you. And Attendance Center Evaluations Committee report.
I can lead into some more. We've been working very hard, Talon, Curran, and Erica Vinny are on this committee with myself, and we have been working for probably the last year and a half on trying to get information out, trying to get plans on what it wanted to look like. They worked again today on some things we met yesterday. Do you want to fill them in a little bit on
Yeah,
where
so
you
last
are?
time we gave an update, I ran it, so I'm gonna let Talon
Alright.
talk a little bit, and then I'll just chime in as I see fit.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, we met yesterday, the three of us, and Brad Irving was in there to assist with, you know, when it comes down to moving away from an attendance center model, you have to evaluate all the different schools, where they are, how close they are to one another, how we're going to have to split the district again in terms of who goes to what school, all that stuff, which you're never going to make everybody happy when that comes to pass. But we did look at a few ways to do that. We're looking at several different options. A lot of it's based around money, to be honest, in terms of how we can make this feasible. The good thing is it's It's being planned out, you know, well in advance. We're getting ready to show the public a lot of this data too, because we want to be transparent. You know, I say as transparent as possible. It sounds like it could be
Not transparent.
not transparent. So we want to be transparent on this. And it's just looking at, you know, like we said, I mean, the normal stuff that people think of. One thing, I think we mentioned this at the last time we spoke about this, but again, we don't have enough schools to return to what people remember from the 80s and the early 90s, and certainly prior to all the school closures that happened in the 80s. But we want to get close to that. And this doesn't necessarily affect our bus numbers. That's a common thing you hear. Oh, we're going to spend less on transportation. Not so much, because we don't have enough schools for that to be possible anymore. So again, you know, some of this we've looked at some construction plans, preliminary stuff, you know, drawings in terms of if we need to add on to a few buildings to make this possible. And I don't know if there's anything you want to fill in, or if there's anything.
Versus multi-grade.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at a variety of options given the schools that we currently have and what multi-grade levels can be in there. So first thing we need to do is we're preparing all of ourselves, the public and the community for this, is get rid of the idea of a neighborhood school. That is not going to happen. I live behind Wilson School. I might not send my kid to Wilson School if you know how this all works out. So like, that is not on the table. It's not necessarily the right thing either. But what we are looking toward is using what we have and what kind of investments we can make in that. I mean, close your eyes for a second and think about when's the last time we built a new school in this town? Never since I've lived here. And I'm, yeah. So, you know, we could look at building a school, but that's gonna cost a lot of money. We can renovate some schools, we can make some changes and work with what we have. So by being fiscally responsible, we're trying to see what we have and how we can maximize that.
The newest schools we don't own anymore.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at that. We sold those.
Also, we're very, I mean, we can be very honest, Talon and I definitely want to get back to multi-grade level centers in some form or fashion. As an educator myself, that's something I strongly believe in, for lots of reasons. But you gotta do it in a smart way, and we don't want to create a whole bunch of other problems by trying to solve one. So that's why this process is taking a long time. I mean, we literally need to go through buildings, and you know, I know like that's been talked about in the past, and we did that. We need to do a more thorough job of that this time. And we need to really see what we have, because what the last thing we need to do is isolate or exclude a whole population of children, because that's not gonna solve anything. And so we're doing this carefully and consciously without trying to raise taxes, because nobody's trying to get their taxes raised, right? Mm-hmm. So there are options that will come up financially that we've already been exploring, bonds, things like that, that aren't gonna raise taxpayer taxes at all. And in fact, I don't know if any of you know this data, but and Ms. Can talk more than I can, or Zach can, because I'm not a financial person, I just like to spend the money. But we're like debt-free. And almost debt-free, yeah, I mean, in my head debt-free, but yeah. And if you compare our debt to other districts in the area and beyond, I mean, pick any district, we're like way low on debt.
That's right, Deb.
We also have one of the lowest tax rates in Madison County for schools.
So, you know, it's not gonna come without a price tag. We don't know what that price tag is, but we're working really hard to make sure that that is as low as possible, because we're not trying to get ourselves into a financial position where we gotta close schools again, and we gotta lay off people and all this other stuff. So, I mean, that's all I really wanted to add to that, but, so really kind of think, you know, get rid of the idea of neighborhood schools, because also, even some of our schools that currently exist, you can't walk to school. You don't walk to Grigsby. There are like 2 streets that can walk to Grigsby, and I still wouldn't recommend it, because Cargill Road, I drive crazy down that road, so I know the rest of it.
So make sure you look first. I think what she's trying to say is that we're trying to look at every aspect of this, and not to make an impulsive decision, and we'll have, when it comes time, when we have plans, we're ready for them, they'll definitely be put out there, correct? We're gonna, you know, we want to do this the right way.
And this is not a political response to say, oh, we're working on it, it's gonna take some time. No, it's literally going to take a year and a half at least, and we're working on it. A lot of people don't know that because we don't wanna make promises we're not gonna keep either. So we're trying to educate ourselves and do our due diligence by examining the district, examining what possibilities are out there, and to make sure we're not operating with blinders on ourselves, because I have a set idea. I was just joking with Brad yesterday, because I was like, well, this is what we need, these grades here, these grades here, these grades here, and then he talked me through buses. I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, gotta get them to the school.
There's so many things that determine
Yeah.
it's not just, okay, we're gonna do this.
But as someone that's grown up in this district, that has taught in this district, that now has a child in this district, I really like the process that we're working with, because I feel like we're going about it in a smart way, with a future focus, instead of trying to put Band-Aids on a situation, or piece together a lot of stuff. So, that's what we have for now. We'll be giving more consistent updates as it goes, but,
Ready to do some plans.
yep. Is that good, Talon?
Anything else, Charlie?
What she said. And I mean, if anybody has questions, feel free to reach out. I'm easy to get a hold of. I think Eric is easy to get a hold of.
I'm easy to get a hold of.
She's easy.
No one ever does that, but
Because that's another thing too. Shockingly, a lot of people don't ever ask a question of any of us sometimes. So it's like, and I've told people, we are going back to the neighborhood schools. I've been
What
there
piece-
as close as we
Sorry.
can. It's never, like she said,
More
it's not going to be what it
traditionally
used to
designed.
be. Right.
Yes. One part I want to mention that we talked in detail about yesterday is whenever we have information to share, we want to do it in a transparent, like an actual transparent way, where we can get information out to you, give you some time to review it, then have some town halls and talk and get some feedback, where you're educated coming to that and not being like, here's what we're doing, sound good, great, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, that's gonna slow it down a little bit too. And also, we want feedback from people, because you're the ones that have to take, I gotta take my kid to school too, and we'll figure that out, and so, that's it, that's good, we've been here long enough. Started enough.
No, I think it was
Great job,
great.
great job. Good update. Appreciate that, thank you both. That's all for presentations. What a great evening.
I know.
On a good board and everything. We do have executive session.
It's very short.
Okay, all right. I think that's everything on the agenda we've had, taking us right up to executive session, so I will entertain a motion to go into executive session very briefly.
So moved.
So moved if it's brief.
It's brief.
Second? Second?
Second, I'll
by
second
Eric.
it.
Yep. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Time is 7:40.